name's Brad, I'm a gas engineer and I work for AquaHeat Ashford. I've been using gas engineer software for about 5 years now. So I started my apprenticeship about 5 years ago, and I used to use the gas engineer software with the other engineer who taught me my job. And then for the last 3 years I've been using it for my own jobs. So I predominantly do service and breakdown, so I get quite a lot of jobs on my diary, get up in the morning, sync it, have a little look where I'm going. The good thing with the gas engineer software is I can just literally click on the address, puts it into my maps for me automatically, and then I just go on with my day. So wake up in the morning, go on the gas engineer app, sync it, have a little look at my jobs, make sure that everything's on there. The office are quite good at preloading my jobs on there, so I can see whereabouts I'm going in the day. Select my first job, tap on the address, it automatically puts in the address onto my maps, and off I go. I think just all of the back office stuff really. I mean, I've not done it without gas engineer software, but talking to other engineers that used to have to write on paper every job and leave 4 bits of paper, just being able to leave it with the customer. We literally fill it out on the gas engineer app, send it straight to their email, we get a copy of it, the office get a copy of it, and it's just, everything's paperless, which is a huge benefit. The other good thing about gas engineer software is because the office load up the customer's details, their email address, their phone number, they get a brief description of what the job is. So when I walk into the job, I sort of know what I'm going into. Because I do a lot of servicing, one of the key features that's really good with the gas engineer software is that I can just send my results from my cane analyzer digitally, and it also puts a copy onto the email. Obviously, before you used to have to just write it in. This gives a screenshot or a printed version digitally with the time, the date, and all of the information it needs for the certificate and for the customer. And it just makes it really easy. And the other good thing is that they're continuously updating it. I know that I had a problem in the past with not being able to see previous certificates. I had a call from the guys that developed the app. Within a week, they literally had solved the problem, and they'd updated it to the point that it made it much better. So I like the fact that they're on board and they're ready to talk and help and make improvements if needed. So if I didn't have gas engineer software, I think I would really miss the fact that it's convenience. I mean, I could be anywhere in our local area and I can get a job updated and everything's on there, customers' details, what I'm going into. Whereas previously I'd have to either call the office, they'd have to call me, I'd have to pick up a job sheet, I'd have to come here every morning and find out where I'm working. If I'd have to travel down to the office to then find out my job is back where I live, I'd have to be going around in circles all day, whereas with the app it's all there in one place. So I wake up in the morning, I'm off to my first job, and if anything comes in the day, they can keep me updated and just go from there. Gas engineer software is really easy to use. Everything is literally exactly where you'd expect it to be. There's nothing hard to find on there. Even if the customer's details aren't correct from an engineer's point of view, if the office have maybe misheard a number, it's really easy to edit the details, edit email addresses. Everything is really, really easy and accessible. I imagine if I didn't have the gas engineer software, it'd easily add 2 or 3 hours to my day every day, making my week a lot less efficient compared to what I do with the app. One of the main things I suppose I couldn't live without with gas engineer software is the back office side of it. I mean, it makes paperwork so easy. If I wasn't able to do my invoicing and my quotes from the app, I know for a fact that I'd probably forget things wouldn't get quoted, customers would probably be chasing me for quotes. I can go on my app, I can see if I've done it, I can check it as completed, and at the end of the day, I know I've done everything I need to do. No complaints. Happy days.
My name's Lee, I'm the owner of AquaHeat, and I've been using Gas Engineer for over 5 years now, and it's really helped my business. So I started a business 12 years ago and my son was born, and it was just a one-man band to start with, me pottering around on my own. We managed to develop that over into 15 people now, 9 out on the road and 4 in the office. Then myself, obviously. And Gas Engineer software, we got it over 5 years ago now, and that's really helped us with the expansion side of things, being able to organise it all. So 12 years ago, it was when I started, it was all paper-based. So everything I'd done, I'd run job sheets through paper, invoices through paper, all my gas safe certificates through paper. When coming to remind a customer for their boiler service, I used to pick up a book that had all of, say, December's services in it, and I would flick through that duplicate pad, trying to find all of the addresses and phone numbers for the clients and ring them up and say it was due. But what the gas engineer software does now is just automatically sends them reminders out for me, which saves me absolutely so much time. The struggle before I had the app was with all the paperwork is one, filing it or maintaining it all whilst being out on the road. So not having a main office, I had to have it all in my van, under the seats, in the back, it was all over the place. And when I needed something, it was always very difficult to find. And when it comes to ordering materials, I had to then find that physical paperwork to then know what I needed to order. And this customer might have booked their quote in a month ago or 2 months ago. So then trying to find that 2-month-old quotation was very difficult. But what the gas engineer software has enabled me to do is when that customer rings up and accepts a quotation, I open the app, I look at what that is, I then send that over to my supplier and it's done. It's so much easier. So before I had gas engineer software, it was very difficult organising just a standard day. That organisation would be lots of paperwork floating around my van, trying to find different bits of paper for jobs, not only on jobs that have been accepted from 2 months ago, but maybe a boiler that had been accepted that I'd done 2 months ago and it was accepted 3 weeks ago and is now being installed. And the engineer now needs to know what details for that particular job. So I'm then having to WhatsApp him, a description. I'm having to call that customer, but I need that customer's number unless I've saved them all in my phone, which you don't want to do, end up with hundreds of customers in your phone. It was just an absolute nightmare to try and organise multiple engineers without software. I literally can't believe I've done it for so long, to be honest. So the biggest problem I used to find without using the app was schedule changes. So it was an absolute nightmare trying to keep on top of all of the different schedule changes and remembering what I'd told customers and where I'd wrote that down, where it wasn't all centralised into one place. It was very difficult to manage, if you like, from a multi-engineer situation. So invoicing before and after the software. Before I had the software, it was a job sheet. So I would on site complete a job sheet and then I'd go and then I'd give that to my lady in the office. She would then write out an invoice and email that over. So it's saving of it, PDF and all of that, emailing it across, then having to work out who's paid, who hasn't paid and filing it all, etc. With the software, it's quite simply, you go onto the app, I then click on the product that I've issued. Could be a certificate, could be a call out, could be whatever I've set up on there. Click on it, one button, save, and it automatically sends to that customer. The customer's got a copy, I've got a copy, and then when they've paid, it's just simply mark it as paid. So the software is very easy to use. It's really self-explanatory. So a very small training process, and I was able to go on there and start adding jobs, completing diary events, invoicing customers, chasing payments. I love the fact that the software will automatically chase a payment if it's not been paid, because that was something I was always lacking it when I had a paper system. Going through and reminding someone their invoice was due never really happened until it was like weeks and weeks old. The gas engineer software does it every 7 days until I mark it as paid. So it's really, really handy. So a rough estimate on how efficient the software makes us would be, you'd have to look at, every aspect that we're currently doing on the app, how we were doing that on paper before, and then timesing that by 9 field engineers. So it would be weeks a month, days a month. It would add up astronomically to the point where I don't know whether it would be financially viable to do it without the software, to be honest. So when running obviously a business, cost is really important. Monthly costs, etc., all add up, especially with everything going up. But what I've really noticed that the money gas engineer software costs far offsets the amount of money it saves, like times 100. It's worth its weight in gold, really is. What we found, like even just being able to book the engineers on that calendar and that engineer being able to go and do that job without speaking to the office is, really, really good. And then chasing payments, because we're getting the payments much more efficiently now and on time, is really, really helped with cash flow.